Hey there, Eli here with my brother and co-host Joshua from This Is Something. You know, sometimes things just defy a genre.
You know, like a platypus.
Or Taco Bell's meat. Well, we think we have the perfect solution for those situations.
That's right, we give you This Is Something Else. Hey guys, hope you're having a beautiful day, and welcome back to This Is Something Else. And we're doing something else today. So when we did the chickens, we only got one side of the story, and we figured with Father's Day only a few days away, we were gonna hang out with Dad today and talk a little about the chicken mansion that you built from the ground up.
Yeah.
You didn't have any like a kit or anything. You built all this from your own
There's
material.
pictures on the internet. I took, there was 3, I looked at a lot of pictures on the internet. I had no idea what I was going to do. I knew nothing about chickens at the time, so I had to do a lot of research.
Right.
Had to figure out how many chickens we were going to have, how big I was going to need to make it, kind of add all that in, how big to make the nesting boxes. I mean, I knew nothing.
Right.
And then I just did research on the internet, and figured with 6 chickens, which we ended up with 10, minus 1 turned out to be a rooster. We got 9 now. But it turned out to be just plenty of room for them, actually just about perfect. I looked at some pictures on the net, like I said, and there was like 3 hen houses that I saw that I really liked. I really liked the layout of them, and I kind of combined those 3 to build how this ended up here.
Okay, all right. So this is pretty much your own design then, based on those 3 that you kind of
Right, correct.
You kind of made your own design. That's
I just
pretty cool.
saw pictures on the internet and went with that.
Okay.
So what did you build this from?
Pallets, like
Pallets?
lots and lots of pallets.
Do you know how many did you count?
How many did I put into it?
Yeah.
No idea.
No idea.
A lot of pallets you end up getting only 50 to 75% of the boards out of it because
Right.
they're warped, they're split, they're shaped funny, they're
They're meant for working, so they're cracked or broken or whatever.
right,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, and you cut them apart. You cut the pallets completely apart, and then you take what good wood is you have, throw out the rest, throw it in the fire pit, whatever, and just take those boards and then cut it the sizes you need.
So each one of these individual boards then is from a pallet. It's,
Correct.
You ripped
Yeah.
it off,
Yeah.
and sawed it down.
And you can see the different colors here.
Yeah.
This and the same dimensions. These were probably from the same pallet, I would imagine. Most pallets you'll get, they're from the same tree or the same type of wood. So, but then you can see the different layouts, the different thicknesses, the widths. They're all from different pallets.
Okay. Here, everybody. You want to hang out? So, okay. What was the hardest part of putting this together? Like, what ended up being the hardest part? Was it ripping the pallets apart?
The hardest part is frustrating because when you take the pallet apart, you got a little tiny board, say like this board here, and you've got to drill a hole called a pilot hole through each place you're going to put a nail, because if you try to drive one of these nails, this is all solid oak. The nails are just going to split. You're going to frustrate yourself.
Right.
So you end up drilling a pilot hole slightly smaller than the nail width, and before you drive each nail. So you got a lot of work. You got
nails,
right.
pilot driven.
Right. Every single nail you see, I had to take a drill bit, drill it in, then drive the nail in.
Okay. Wow.
So that's a lot of work because you end up tearing apart the pallet, and then you have to drill holes just to get a small board, just to get this board.
So what ended up being the easiest part putting this all together? Like what ended
The
up?
easiest
yeah.
part?
Was there one thing that stood out as like, oh, well, that was nothing?
Just the tiniest little things you think you would. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
So you have a whole space under here that has ash in it. Did you know that you were going to have different spaces?
No, not really. No, when I built the hen house, I had no idea that I was going to put an ash pit back under here.
Okay.
Now, what's the ash pit for?
The ash pit, we take our fire pit, we take the ash from it, dump it in there. The chickens love it. They get in there, spray it all throughout the feathers. They just love it, and it prevents mites.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then they end up kicking it everywhere. It never stays in place.
So you've added a bunch of other things in here. There's like a little swing.
And we'll add some pictures right here to kind of show what we have.
There's a swing. they've got a pitch up in here. They've got a bunch of different things going on. What all have you added since you built it?
Since I built it?
Yeah.
Well, let's see, the swing. There's a lot of stuff I've taken out. The hook for the water back there. For the hen house, I added a couple hooks on the bottom for the feeder and the water. The water I ended up moving it again. So, but you end up with this thing, as we got the chickens, I ended up adding and taking stuff away. I originally, inside I had 6 nesting boxes for 6 chickens. Well, as it turned out, they didn't need
They all
six.
used
They ended up
one.
using the same spot. In fact, half their eggs they jump out. They don't even do in the nesting boxes. They do it in an area back here we call the West Wing. So they took out 2 of the nesting boxes, made this
West
big
Wing?
area. Yeah, we call it the West Wing because it's on the west side of it.
Okay, that's
So we had a little pizzazz to that.
little has that.
Yeah.
So this is actually a pretty cool setup, and you actually have a lot going on here. The chickens seem pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to put this all together? By the
Well,
end of
it took about a year, but saying that year, I took the winter off. I
Right.
didn't do anything out here in the winter months. I did it off and on as I had time, really. Hours, I couldn't even begin to imagine.
Right.
I have no idea. I'd
Yeah.
spend like 3 hours a day on it, maybe an hour after work a day here and there. Just a little here and there until it was done. But the whole thing took about a year.
So if someone wanted to build something like this, where would they look?
First place, find a good source of pallets. Find a lot of pallets.
Okay.
And then where would they do their research if they wanted to kind of, where did you do your research?
On how to tear them apart.
On how to put this together, on how to put a chicken coop together.
That's just what I said earlier, on the internet.
Okay.
I just looked at the pictures and went with that. I didn't have any blueprints, I didn't have any drawings, I
Do
didn't
you
have
have any
anybody
dimensions
telling
or
me
anything?
anything. I just went with that. What I started with, I should say, I found out with 6 chickens, you needed, I think it was 4 square feet per chicken inside the house. So that's 24 with the
Okay,
chickens.
so you start from...
So I started with, and there's a picture you'll probably put up here. This bottom part is one single pallet. It was a 4-foot by 8-foot pallet. I left it in place. I put it up on sawhorses, and then I added 6 legs. There's 3 on each side, and nailed those to the pallet. Then once I had that done, I pulled it out from the sawhorses, set it down on the ground. The ground here is just, it's not even. You know, we're in Lancaster. It's hilly wherever you go, it seems. So, of course it wasn't level. So then on this end, I had to put a couple concrete blocks under it to get it level. Then started adding lumber to it. As I added lumber to it, I was like, wait a second, this thing's getting really, really heavy quick. So then at that point, I pulled out I jacked it up first, supported it, pulled out the concrete blocks, dug the post holes, added more lumber, because originally this was just one board. I added a second board to each leg, dug the post holes down underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
This was a pain. I had to, each corner I had to raise up to dig that post hole and then lower it back down in. So then these are sunk down in the ground. I think it's about 2 foot. So
Okay.
each one of these boards, if this is a 3-foot board, this is really a 5-foot
board, right.
Yeah.
So, you know what the square footage is overall in the area?
On the hen house,
24.
It's just
it's 32.
32, okay.
Yeah, it was
you don't
4
know
by
what
8
area
pallet.
though.
I've never
No.
measured it,
No.
Okay. Well, I think we're about out of time. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Dad. We're used to shaking hands with people. So, until next time, I'm Eli.
I'm Joshua,
And I'm Dad.
and
this is Something Else. We hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment because we enjoy chatting with you.
Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at This Is Something. All the links are below. Thanks and have a beautiful day.